Hey guys, I hope everyone is safe and healthy at home. I know it's an interesting change of pace to be home, but we are going to be doing a few things this week. We're keeping it relatively easy, so we're doing some light stuff. So we have the presentation that you see here, and at the end of the presentation I'm going to give you guys an access code to use for your homework tonight, which is on Canvas. That's on area of parallelograms, and you'll just be able to look in the module and see the homework for tonight. And at the end of this video I will give you the access code that you need to use for that. So the formula that we're going to be using today is area equals base times height. So you see it actually written right up here, okay? So area is equal to the base times the height. So let's talk about what the base and the height are for all these different types of parallelograms, and we'll talk about what makes them parallelograms in a second. But like we said, this little reminder at the top here, the base and the height always meet at a right angle. So for instance, in this rectangle you can see that the right angle is right here, and we have the base and the height that meet at that right angle. Same thing for the square here, okay? The square, you have the base and the height meet at a right angle just like this. Now it just happens to be that in a square the base and the height are the exact same measurement, so the two sides, side and side here, you just would need to multiply. Now parallelogram is a little bit different because you have the base here, but this side here is not the height, because you can see down here it does not meet the base at a right angle. So a lot of times what you'll see with a parallelogram is you'll see a dotted line just like this, where there's a right angle at the bottom, and this will be the height. Or another possibility that you'll see is there'll be a dotted line on the outside meeting the base at a right angle, and they'll label the height out here. So the base and the height you would multiply, again, have to meet at a right angle. Now all three of these are all parallelograms because they are quadrilaterals, which are four-sided figures with two sets of parallel sides. So when I say two sets of parallel sides, so for instance, the top and the bottom is one set of parallel sides, and the left and the right is the second set of parallel sides. Same thing with this square here. The top and the bottom are parallel, and the left and the right are also parallel. Same thing with this parallelogram. The top and the bottom, and then these two sides here are also parallel to each other. So for instance, an example of a quadrilateral that is not a parallelogram would be a trapezoid, because a trapezoid only has one set of parallel sides, which we'll actually do later in the next few weeks. Alright, so we're going to go to our next slide here. Alright, so now we have our first parallelogram, okay? So what I always want you to do is I always want you to start with the formula. So I want you to write the formula, and then what we're going to do is we're going to fill in the formula. So we're going to fill in the information that we know. So the area is, we need the base and the height. So when you look at this parallelogram, you need to decide what are the two measurements that meet at a right angle. So we have 20 for the base right down here, and then the height has to meet that base at a right angle. So the only measurement here that meets 20 at a right angle is 7. So I'm going to multiply those two together, and that would give me 140 meters squared. So just a reminder, anytime that you're doing area, it's always going to be units squared. Okay, and this next one here, we have a rectangle. Okay, now this rectangle didn't have measurements of the picture, so I'm going to put measurements here. So we have 12 inches, and then we'll say we have 8 inches over here. So again, we're going to fill in the formula. Area is the base, which is 12, times the height. This time, the base and the height meet at a right angle, so that would be 8. So our area would be 12 times 8, which is 96 inches squared. Okay? Okay, now we talked about a square. The base and the height just happen to be the same number, but it is a parallelogram because it has two sets of parallel sides, so we just need to multiply the base and the height together. So in this case, the base and the height are both 8. So 8 times 8, which would give you 64 inches squared. Now I know in my math class sometimes we've talked about something being a perfect square, so the number 64 is a perfect square because we have to multiply 8 times 8. Just like we were thinking of, if you have 8 rows of 8, you can make a square out of that. Okay? Okay, now what I want you to do is I want you to actually try some of these on your own, and I'm going to give you a few seconds. So what I want you to do is I want you to hit pause right here, actually fill in the formula, and try to get the answer, and then put the units in it as well. So hit pause for a second. Alright, so if you paused it and you gave it a try, so in this case we have the base and the height, which would be 14 is the base and 23 is the height. So all you would need to do is you would need to multiply 14 times 23, 322 feet squared. Okay, let's go into another one. Alright, so this time we just have a rectangle, and again it even has the right angles in there for you, so I want you to hit pause and actually do the area. So go ahead and give it a try and hit pause. I want to actually turn this into inches. So we have 2.5 feet here, and we have 7 inches here. So I'm going to turn this into inches. Okay, so 2.5 feet would be how many inches? 2.5 feet would be 30 inches. So 30 times 7. So we'll go with inches squared. So 30 times 7 is 210 inches squared. Okay, and then we have another one here. I'm going to you to hit pause. Alright, so again, a square is a parallelogram, two sets of parallel sides, the base and the height meet at a right angle. So we have 5 and 5, so the area would be 25 centimeters squared. Alright, so if you guys made it to the end of this, you can actually now go on to Canvas and do the homework quiz for today. The access code is just the word area. So if you go and it asks you for an access code, okay, I just want you to type in the word area. Alright? Alright, you guys, good luck with that. I did set it up so that it would be something that you could take 2 attempts for, so if you happen to make a mistake, you can actually go back and try it again, and it will give you the average of your 2 scores. So if you do really make a few mistakes the first time, you can go back and give it a second chance. Alright guys, there'll be another video for later in the week on area of triangles. So good luck with this, and again, be healthy and stay safe. See ya!